Hello guys, I'm Nagala Magawi and today a very special topic. Yes, I mean it. So here we go. The life cycle of a cup of coffee. How many people does it take to make a cup of coffee? Yes. For many of us, all it takes is a short walk and quick pour. But the simple stapling this result for global spanning process, yes, whose cost and complexity and far greater than you might imagine. Yes. Oh, basically it begins in a place like the root Columbia town of Pituta. Here family farmers here clear cut local fresh to make room. Yes. So I prepare about many things about coffee, what life cycle or something about this. The life cycle of a cup of coffee begins with the coffee bean itself. Coffee beans are grown on coffee plants, with typically take about 3 to 4 years to reach maturity and start producing fruit. These plants are typically found in tropical regions with specific climate and altitude conditions. Once the coffee cherries are ripe, they are harvested either by hand picking or by using mechanical methods. After harvesting, and the cherries need to be processed to remove the outer layer and extract the coffee beans. Inside, there are two common methods of processing: the wet method and the dry method. Basically, in the wet method, the pulp is removed from the cherries using water and fermentation. The beans are then washed and dried either through sun drying or mechanical drying. The method usually produces a cleaner and brighter flavor profile. So, in the dry method, the cherries are spread out on the large plateaus or raised beds to naturally dry in the sun. The other layers of the cherries slowly dry and can be easily removed, revolving the coffee beans inside. This method is often used in areas where water availability is limited. It can lead to more rustic and earthy flavor profile. After the cherries have been processed and the coffee beans have been dried, they are sorted and graded according to their size, color, and quality. And the beans are roasted to unlock their flavor components. Roasting can range from light or dark, each level producing different flavor profiles. Once the coffee beans have been roasted, they are usually ground to different depending on the roasting can range from light to dark, each level producing different flavor profiles. Once the coffee beans have been roasted are usually ground to different, skip this point. At this point, the coffee is ready to be brewed and consumed. The brewing process involves accompanying the ground coffee with hot water to extract its flavor. The varies brewing method including drop brewing, espresso machine, French press, and more. Each method produced different taste experience. Finally, after brewing, the coffee is typically served in a cup and consumed. The life cycle of a cup of coffee is complete, and the journey from a coffee plant to flavor beverage is enjoyed by the coffee drinker. It's important to note that this is a simplified version of the coffee life cycle, as there are many variables and nuances involved in each stage. Additionally, the sustainability and ethical consideration in the coffee industry, such as fair trade practice and environmental impact are also critical aspects of the coffee life cycle. So we complete what I say about a specific point. According to Jacobs, consumers can make more environmentally sustainability choice when it comes to their daily cup of coffee by following these strategies. Yes, number one, choose shade grown coffee. Shade grown coffee is grown under a canopy of trees, which helps protect boundaries or provide the habits of bears. Opt for coffee that is organic and certified. As shown grown ensured its sustainability produced. Number two, look for certifications. Choose coffees that carry certifications such as fair trade, bird friendly, or reinforced alliance. This certification ensures that the coffee was produced using sustainability practice and benefits both the environment and the farmers. Yes. Number three, avoid single-use cups. Bring your own reusable coffee cup when you visit coffee shops. This reduces the waste generated from disposable cups, and some cases may even you a discount on your phrase. Number four, invest in home coffee setup. Consider investing in a home coffee setup such as French press or power over system, which eliminates the need for single-use coffee pods. The filter commonly used in automatic machine. It allows you to control the amount of coffee you make, reducing waste. Number five, compost coffee grounds. After brewing your coffee, don't throw away the used grounds, and instead compost them or use them as fertilizer of your plants. Coffee grounds are natural to the soil and help reduce waste. Number six, buy coffee in bulk. Brushing coffee in bulk reduce packing waste. Packaging waste. Consider buying larger page of coffee or finding a local roaster who offers coffee beans in bulk. Number seven, choose local or place. Choose coffee. Opt for coffee beans that are locally for regionally sold. This reduces the carbon footprint associated with transformation, as coffee doesn't have to travel long distance to reach you. By finally, this some recommendation consumers can make more environmentally sustainability choice when it comes to their daily cup of coffee. I want to speak about book related what I say. In this book, the Europe living densely Jacobs describes the production phase of coffee in their life cycle and complex facing process. He explains that the coffee plant, which belongs to genus Coffee, is grown primarily in tropical regions around the world. Jacobs notes that coffee is typically harvested from the plant's cherries when they are the ripened. This can either be done by hand or through mechanical means, depending on the scale of production. After the cherries are harvested, they go through a series of processing steps, including storing, washing, and drying. The author highlights the importance of coffee farmers in this phase, as their experience is crucial in producing high-quality beans. He emphasizes these farmers. I explained these points, but I wanted to add. Is there many articles or many websites speak about this topic? Like Coffee is amazing supply chain of your morning coffee. Even so, modern coffee machine after an attractive variety of coffee drinks like latte, espresso. For me, it's a simple cup of black coffee that helps kickstart my productivity when the clock strikes at 8 a.m. The kickstart or boost aspect of coffee was randomly discovered between the 6th and the 9th century widespread. Tale sets the sense in the Kingdom of Cata in Hispania, which today in Australia, where a shepherd one day observed this that his sheep were unusually cheerfully after eating white blossoms and red cherries from previously unknown plant. Further, it says the shepherd told the monks formidably about this discovery. Okay, coming back to reality, the fact is that today one cup of coffee requires about 70 coffee beans, which often have quite a long journey behind them with their roots somewhere in a field of Brazil. The beans make their way into the fully automated coffee machine on the third floor when my colleagues meet to discuss the day tasks, the journey. Yes, literally the supply chain process of coffee beans typically contains 7 levels: growing, harvesting, hulling, drying and picking, bulking, pulling and roasting. The entire supply chain is further extended by several intermediaries, including global transports as well as exports and retailers. But let's start with the origin. The coffee seed grows best in humid climate with a stable temperature of approximately 25 degrees. Yes, Colombia, Peru, and similar regions are optimal growing locations. After regularly 10 weeks, the seed sprouts, but it takes around 4 to 7 years for the tree to mature and produce its first crop. Okay, here we go. The red cherries are mainly picked by hand, and since not at all cherries are ripe at the same time, yes, actually, one tree must be inspected several times. This process requires a significant amount of human resources and is not the only manual work that goes into harvesting coffee, apart from removing and hulling dirt from the cherry, as well as spirting the 2 beans embedded in the fruit. The workers have to outwall the beans in the sun to fully dry them. After the coffee beans are dried out, sacks containing about 60 kilogram, 130 pound of beans are placed on the exports. This immediate gather together a high amount of beans from different farmers to cover the requirements. The global players in the coffee sector who have their roasting houses and distribution centers worldwide. The entire supply chain is linked by several immediation transformation is an important component is the coffee supply chain, representing an enormous global network, which ends with various retailers running from small and cozy coffee to giant box stores all over the world. But these coffee beans make service stops before arriving at their final destination, be it from crop to drying station or from individual farmers to processors and roasters. The greater the number of administrations, the most elaborate and stable and supply chain needs to be a reliable and least cost supply chain. And is there in the described video shows this amazing supply chain process behind a cup of coffee with its many stages, so I recommend to watch this. Conclusion. conclusion, coffee is one of the most traded commodities in the world and revolves a complex and global supply chain with many things and immutable dependence in this end. The effect of the morning cup of coffee is not only the business of the printed on the package. The coffee supply chain is composed of many different units that all test and perfect to start your day work. So I hope to interest with me. Don't forget to subscribe in my channel and support me. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.